dear students, my name is Annette van Heerden. I'm your tutor in Mother Tongue Literacy Development 1 for the DPP and DJP course in English. This is a content-based contact session for the examinations of 2020, all 3 examinations. Welcome to this very important module. Literacy development is the most important subject for any junior primary teacher, as this forms the basis for reading, and reading is the pathway for learning throughout a child's school and tertiary career. The purpose of this module is to develop a theoretical understanding of the mother tongue and second language development. This presentation will provide assistance to all 3 examination papers for 2020. Please note, this is not a scope. All examination papers are combined for the 2 courses, DPPE and DJPE. Seeing that the 2 study guides differ so much, there are not a lot of similar work in the 2 study guides for me to ask year after year. Therefore, it may seem as if there are a lot of duplication. In this presentation, your question paper and technical aspects thereof. I will also give you a cue how to answer a very good examination paper and how to use the verb to give the correct answer, a summary of your study material, choice questions, how to answer the grammar questions, suggestions on how to study, and how and when to contact me. Your exam paper, all questions should be answered. Where there is a choice question applicable, make sure you answer only one of the 2 questions. Otherwise, only the first answer will be marked. The choice question will usually be one for the DPP students and one for the DJP students. Read your questions with care. Make sure you know what is expected in every verb in each question. Make sure you know the English grammar as well as the language structure. Every paper has a question on this. The technical aspects of answering your examination. Your exam paper consists out of a cover page, instruction page, and questions to be answered. The cover page is divided in a left and a right column. The left column is for the tutor and the right column must be filled in by you. The right column, the following headings can be found on it. Under the heading Student Details, you should fill in your student number, your surname, your first name and initials, your ID number, your examination center, and you should sign. General instructions at the bottom of the cover page. You will find the general instructions. Please read through them and make sure you understand. Questions should be answered on the question paper, in the lines underneath each question. Answer all questions. Use the mark allocation for each question as a guide for how many facts you should write down. It is best to number the facts underneath each other. Write neatly and legibly. If I cannot read what you wrote, I cannot allocate marks to you. This paper consists of 8 pages, including the cover page. Count the pages and make sure they are all there. No cheating or disturbing. Serious steps will be taken against anyone who cheats or disturbs an examination session. The examination instructions. There should be no unauthorized materials or irregularities. No asking for or giving any assistance. No cell phones. No leaving the room in the first 30 minutes. No late arrivals. Make sure that you are on time. The question paper or answering paper is the property of IOL and may not be kept or parts thereof removed. All answers should be on the IOL pages. No smoking or eating in the examination room. And last, and although also the most important, please sign the checklist. Understanding how to answer a question. Every exam paper is set in 3 levels of difficulty, level 1, 2, and 3. These levels are usually indicated by the specific verb that leads the question. In the front part of your study guide, you will find a list of verbs and what is expected of you when I use the verb. You will have to study this list or you will lose marks when not knowing what to do. The levels in your exam paper is divided as follows. Level 1, 70%, Level 2, 20%, and Level 3, 10%. How to use the verb. The verb that is most commonly used by me is the verbs list or name, only name the content, describe, define, outline, express, summarize, identify, just give the description or explanation that you studied in your studies guide. And then for level 2, discuss, analyze, comment, examine, design, create, investigate, and demonstrate. With these verbs, you must still use the facts from your study guide, but you cannot only give the fact as it is. Some other actions is needed. Discuss. Give a clear description of the facts and then argue about the features. So you still write down the facts and then you give a discussion on each. Examine. Identify detailed features of something by giving the facts and discuss them according to a given direction, drawing a conclusion. Use the list in your study guide to find out what you will have to do with every verb that I gave you above. Level 3, evaluate, means to determine or value the worth or the quality or the success of something according to a certain criteria. Compare means to indicate similarities, resemblances, and differences of the phenomena regarding a particular criteria. Draw a conclusion about the similarities and differences, emphasizing the similarities. Very often, a table format is used to compare the phenomena. If you are asked to compare some facts to your class, make sure you indicate which of these facts you have found in your class. When asked to discuss critically, students have to provide positive and negative points and draw a conclusion. When asked to determine, use the information given to work out the answer. When asked to distinguish, differentiate, or contrast, describe the two phenomena or things according to a relevant criteria. But here you have to point out the differences between the two sets. If you have a look in compare, you have to point out the similarities. With distinguish, differentiate, or contrast, you have to point out the difference. It's very important that you know what to do with all the verbs, as not knowing will cause you losing valuable marks. The next is a summary of the most important work in the study guides in question form. Read carefully to see when it is applicable to the DPPE students and when for the DJP students. Use the refs given to find the answer in your specific study guide. For example, E1 number 1.2.2 means Unit 1 under the heading 1.2.2. The verbs indicating what is expected in each question will be typed in bold. See your study guide to know what is expected when using each verb. Some short questions. Answer the following short questions regarding the language families found in Namibia. Level 1. How many individual languages are listed for Namibia? 28. What is the literacy rate in Namibia? 16%. That's low, ne? That's where you come in. Name the national language of Namibia. English. Name 4 languages that belong to the Bantu family. Oshivambu, Oshiarero, Kavango, Kwangali, and Caprivi. Name 2 other language families that is found in Namibia. Indo-European and Khoisan families. Name the only language that comes close to being lingua franca in Namibia. Afrikaans. For the DPP, Unit 2, number 4.1, or the DJP, number 2.1, define literacy, oracy, and mental lexicon. The definitions is in your study guide, so you can just go and find them in that place. DPP Unit 1 number 4.1 and DJP number 1.5. Answer the following short questions on the language policy of Namibia with regard to mother tongue up to grade 4. What language will be called mother tongue in a specific school? Answer, the predominant local language. Which two languages are crucial for learners to master? Mother tongue or the predominant local language, and English. Which language is called the official language? English. In which grades should mother tongue be medium of instruction? Pre-primary, grade 1, 2, and 3. What should be done in multilingual schools according to class groups? Children should preferably be grouped according to their mother tongue. From which grade should the medium of instruction be English? Grade 4. Now a few longer questions. In DPP, Unit 3, Learning Activity 6, or DJP, number 3.5.2, discuss the natural process developing oracy, verbal sounds, and how literacy can evolve from here in a young child. The facts you will find in your two study guides under the two refs given, but remember, if I ask you to discuss, you should use the facts and then give a short discussion on each fact. You may number them underneath each other. In the DPP guide, Unit 3, number 4.1, or in the DJP guide, number 3.5.1, in table form, draw a comparison between the terms phonetics and phonology. Students, comparison asks you to lift out the similarity between these two. So, there might be some negative, but mostly the similarities. Define what you understand under the term culture, and this you will find in the DJP students in number 1.3. DPP Unit 2, number 4.4. And Unit 3, Learning Activity 6, How Children Learn Verbs and Vocabulary and Literacy. And also DJP Study Guide number 2.5. Clarify the relationship between oral language and literacy learning. This clarification you should add to the facts that you will find in your study guides under the refs given. Please make sure that each fact will have a clarification. In the DPP Study Guide, Unit 1, number 4.5, and in the DJP Study Guide, number 1.5. In the National Language Policy of Namibia, there are very specific stipulations regarding the medium of instruction and language in the junior primary phase. State these stipulations. Please note, the junior primary phase in this study guide is pre-primary, grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, and grade 4. Do not go past grade 4. Otherwise, this will not receive marks. Then the next one. Do some research at your local school and predict how the thematic approach is implemented in a junior primary classroom. This question will be in the assignment and then flow over to one of the examinations. So when you get your assignment, please go to your local school and go ask about the thematic approach and how it is done. The steps on how do you do that in your classroom is what I want to know. So then study that from your assignment for your examination. DPP Unit 2, number 4.3. Also DJP, number 2.4. Define and then discuss the alphabetic principle and its importance in early literacy development. So first you need to define what is meant by the alphabetic principle. And then you need to discuss how is the alphabetic principle important in early literacy development. This is a long question. It will count anything from 15 to 25 marks. So make sure you study the alphabetic principle very, very good. The next one, the DPP students, Unit 3, the word wall, and the DJP students, number 3.8.2. Describe how you can develop and extend the children's vocabulary in your pre-primary class by using the well-known word wall. Now students, I do not ask you to use the word wall. There is a material in your class, the word wall. That is a method of teaching, word wall, where you put down words on the wall. And that is what you need to describe. Describe how you will use the word wall in your class. Somewhere in your class you will have to have a place called word wall. And describe that one in your answer here. You will find the answer in your 2 study guides in the place that I read above. The rest of the questions are choice questions. There are questions where the questions come from the DPPE study guide and the rest of the question from the DJP study guide. Students should only answer one of the questions and make sure that it comes from your specific course of studies study guide. So if you answer the wrong question, you will not receive marks. Choice question will also be introduced by the following sentence. Ask only one of the following questions according to your course of study. Please, DJPE students, you cannot ask the questions for DPPE because that will not be in your study guide and you won't know the content of the question. And vice versa. DPPE students, you cannot ask the question that is marked for the DJP students because you will not have the facts to answer that because it is not in your study guide. Make sure you look carefully which one is your question. They will look like this. Choose one of the approaches to develop literacy and discuss this approach. Then I will ask constructivist learning and I will put in brackets DPPE. That is your question. Discuss the constructivist learning approach. And the other one, the language experience approach, in brackets DJPE. So this is for the DJPE students. Discuss this approach in detail. Remember, discuss is a level 2 verb, and you need not only put down the facts but a little discussion on each. This can also be asked as follows. Constructivist learning, then in brackets DPPE, and language experience approach, DJPE, are both approaches to develop literacy. Choose one of these approaches according to your course and of study and critically discuss it, clearly showing the positive and the negative points of the approach and reach a conclusion. With critical discussion, you always have to show the positive and the negative points, and you will always have to write a short conclusion at the end of your question. The conclusion doesn't have to be half a page. It can only be 3 or 4 lines. DPPE students, Constructivist learning, there is your ref. Language experience approach, DJPE students, find your ref at number 2.3. The next question, answer only one. DPP students, number 1, Unit 1, number 4.4.2 and 3. In table form, compare simultaneous second language learning to sequential second language learning and evaluate the benefits of each. Now, there are two methods of second language learning. The first one is simultaneous and the second one is sequential. You will make a table. You will put simultaneous second language learning in the one column and sequential in the second column. And then you will compare the two with each other. At the bottom of the table, you will write a short evaluation on the benefits of each one of them. This is only a question for the DPPE students. Then, for the DJPE students, in table form, under the heading First, Second and Multilingual Language Acquisition, compare the social interactionist theory with vocabulary acquisition and evaluate the benefits of each. She will also make a table with two columns, the heading and then the comparisons and then the benefits. This is also a structure for the GPPE students. Another one, DPP students, Unit 1, Learning Activity A3. And Unit 1, number 4.3. Demonstrate how you would convince parents to put their child in a mother tongue class and discuss the reasons why this is the best option for your child. So this is really two questions. You first demonstrate how you will convince them and then discuss the reasons why this is the best for the child. So this is a two-part question. Level 1, 10, that is the demonstration, and level 2, 5, this is the discussion. This is only for the DPPE students. Then, in the same question, for the DJP students, number 3.2.2, while convincing parents of the importance of mother tongue learning, demonstrate the procedures and advantages of linking home and school learning in the young child. So, this is a demonstration of the procedures and the advantages of linking home and, so it's two linked. First you demonstrate the procedures and then you demonstrate the advantages. Procedures, how it is done, advantages, what will come from it. So this is also a two-part question. Level 1, 10 marks and level 2, 5 marks. Another question. Answer only one, the DPPE students. Unit 1, number 4.3, explain how cultural diversity and identity are reflected in language by looking at the role of mother tongue as well as English-only education. This is for the DPP students. The DJP students, number 1.3, paragraph 9, and number 2.2, paragraph 1. Define the term cultural identity. That's a definition that you should get in the study guide, study, write down. List the factors that influence cultural identity. Again, the facts is in your study guide, study it and write it down. Now explain the factors that influence your personal worldview. Here I need an explanation from you. But you can also find this explanation in your study guide. So there's nothing difficult about this question. All is in your study guide. Number 13, answer only one. In the DPP Study Guide, Unit 1, number 4.4.1, Judy Hayes conducted a study on the 5 stages of second language acquisition. Name and describe each of these 5 stages. It is quite forward. You name the stage, give a description. Name the next stage, give a description. Find it in your study guide and study it. Then the DJP students in number 1.4. David Crystal's theory on child language acquisition also involves 5 stages. Describe these stages according to him. Answer only 1. DPP students, DPP Unit 2, number 4.5. Discuss the importance of storytelling and story reading for early literacy development. Also explaining DLTA. Not only displaying DLTA, discuss the importance of the storytelling and story reading for early literacy development, and then explain DLTA. For the DJPE students, number 2.6, discuss the importance of storytelling and story reading in early literacy development, then listing the elements of storytelling and story listening that can assist a child to develop literacy. So everyone is like a 2-part question. The question is in 2 parts. First, discuss the importance of storytelling and story reading, and then for the DPPs, explain DLTA, and for the DJPs, listing the elements of storytelling and story listening. In every exam paper, there is a grammar questions. Students really struggle to answer this. Therefore, I am now going to explain how to answer this in depth. The question might look like this. Use the given sentence. Stop there. Given sentence. I will give you a sentence. And from that sentence, provide each different part of speech with a function and then the examples from the sentence. All examples. So firstly, you must tell me what is the function of this in number A. And then in number B, go to the sentence that I give you and look for all the examples of this in the sentence. The given sentence. He ran fast to the blue gate and closed it slowly. The first thing I will ask you is verb. The function of the verb, it's an action or a state. And if you look at the sentence, the verbs is ran and closed. Write only the verbs, the words that you know is the verb. You cannot write the whole sentence and make me choose which one is the verb. If you write the whole sentence, then clearly mark the 2 verbs. If you mark all the words and I have to choose the verbs, I will only mark the first 2 underlined and the rest I will not mark, even if it's correct or if it's not correct. So it's better to just write down the verbs. Then the next part of speech, a noun. A noun is a person or a thing. So what is the noun in the sentence? The noun is only gate. Each time just give the specific verb from the word from the sentence. Then the next part of speech is the adverb. An adverb describes a verb. And in this sentence, you will find 2 adverbs. Slowly will describe the verb closed. Look where you wrote down verbs. The verbs is ran and closed. So slowly will describe how you closed it. And fast will describe how he ran. He ran fast and he closed it slowly. That is the adverbs. They describe the verb. The pronoun replaces a noun. So the 2 pronouns in the sentence is he and it. He relates to the boy and it relates to the gate. The preposition links a noun to another word. So the preposition in the sentence is to. He ran to the gate. The adjective describes the noun. So, blue is an adjective because the noun is a gate. How does the gate look? The gate is blue. Blue describes the noun. Conjunction links two sentences or clauses together. And if you go back to the sentence, he ran fast to the blue gate. That's one sentence. The next sentence should be, he closed it slowly. But we linked the two sentences, took out the he, and just put in a conjunction, and. So, and is the conjunction. Another question can be asked like this. Provide each of the following parts of language with a short explanation as well as an example from the given sentence. Again, I gave you the sentence. He ran fast to the blue gate and closed it slowly. The main sentence is a sentence with a subject, a verb, and an object. So which one has a subject, a verb, and an object? He, subject, ran, verb, object, blue gate. He ran fast to the blue gate is the main sentence. You can even just write, he ran to the gate. It's the main sentence. Then a phrase. A phrase is a group of words who do not both have a subject and a verb. Remember when I told you it could be two sentences. He ran fast to the blue gate. He closed it slowly. Then we took out the he. We took out the subject. Now this becomes a phrase. So, the phrase is closed it slowly. Or and closed it slowly. This is now the phrase because we took out the subject. Sometimes we take out the verb, but in this case we took out the subject. The subject is the person doing the deed. Who did the deed? He. He ran fast. So the subject is he. The object is that what is being done to. What did he do something to? He did it to the blue gate. So the blue gate is the object. I can only ask you change the given sentence into the following tenses. I catch the ball that my sister throws. In the past sentence, the verbs is the ones changing. First find the verbs. The two verbs is catch and throws. I caught the ball that my sister threw. The future tense. Future tense, the key word with future tense is I shall, we shall, all the others will. So I shall catch the ball that my sister will throw. Present continuous tense. What is continuous? Continuous is the ing tense. I am catching the ball that my sister is throwing. Past continuous. I was catching the ball that my sister was throwing. Make sure you know the difference between the present and the present continuous and the past and the past continuous. Remember, continuous also has the ing attached to the verb. The following parts of speech can be tested: verb, noun, pronoun, adverb, adjective, preposition, conjunction, the main sentences and the phrase, the subject and the object. The change can given sentences into the following sentences: present tense, past tense, future tense, present continuous tense, past continuous tense, or future continuous tense. Make sure you know these, please. This was schoolwork already. Suggestions on how to study. You cannot pass the subject if you do not know the study guide. You cannot study all the study guide in one day. After receiving your study guide, summarize it, read through it at least once a week. Start studying about 2 months before your examination. Try not to study the whole content in a day, but divide it into portions that you can handle. Then restudy the content on a regular basis. Try not to write MT1 and MT2 in the same examination. Rather pay enough attention to one at a time in order to pass your examination. The cue to answer a very good question paper is to study your study guide well. All the answers will be in your study guide. Study the work that is summarized in this exam-based contact session. You can find this on your portal. Also study the correct questions from your returned assignment. As much as 30% of them can be in the examination. Read the questions until you understand what is asked. Lots of students do not understand what is asked in the questions. Answer in your own words means construct the correct facts from your study guides into your own words. Do not make up your own facts and stories to write down. While doing this, make sure you do not lose some important facts for a specific question. To avoid this, list and number the facts underneath each other wherever possible. Listen. Note, no listing can be done when you are asked to write an essay or a paragraph or a discussion. Remember, my marking cannot help you pass your exam. I mark according to a memorandum and my work is being moderated. I cannot give you marks when the correct facts is not written down. Only you can help yourself pass by studying all your work very hard. If you failed the previous exam, make sure that you obtain a report on marking from the IOL officers to find out what was doing wrong. Please note that the tutors do not work in the IOL offices. We are part-time workers and work from our homes. We cannot help you with any administrative problems. I can only help you with problems concerning your subject content. I'm always available for help. But it is best to email your question to me at vanheerdenfam@gmail.com. Then I can give you a well-constructed answer. Please note I tutor different subjects in different courses. So while emailing me, please name your course code and subject code like DJP or DPP MT1 English. If you have to phone me, adhere strictly to my calling times. Unfortunately, I will not be answering any calls over weekend, especially not on Sundays. I wish you the best of luck for your examination.